Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this backup channel, Nathan Oakley as opposed to Nathan Oakley 1980, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the background Flat Earth debate. So this Uncut show will be a regular occurrence at this time, 4 a.m. UK time, and obviously that'll be maybe mid-afternoon for the Australians and late evening for the Americans. And it's basically going to be the extended version of the show, so it will have the after show tagged on to the end. But this first show that went out earlier has already been broadcast and rebroadcast almost immediately after. So if you do happen to tune into the live Flat Earth debate, then you can see the first show broadcast immediately after the second show as a rerun, kind of like a +1 channel. But this is, as I say, the second show from today's live show, and you're getting to hear it for the first time. So this is original content, hence it being on a premiere, but you'll get to hear the discussion that happens in between the live shows from the people who are on the panel. So with that, I'm going to hand over to the panel while I set up for the live show.
So it's normal.
He'll be back.
It's the
He'll
time.
be
of
back.
the
He has a
year. It's
good
the time
common
of the year.
sense. Yeah. It's starting to get dark. Everybody gets that,
Yeah,
what is
we
that?
want.
Impression from no
We need
sunlight.
breathing room. We need like our space. That
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And he's doing a show every day, and that can get on you. So he's tired of everyone arguing and shills coming on and making a big mess. So
Who are you talking
Yeah,
about?
and he's not a very good director, really. So
Who are you talking about?
Jamie Brown.
Oh, right.
If Jamie Brown's gone off the rails, it's because he's either fallen out with somebody at some point or whatever. I mean, he knows it's not a sphere. Whether I don't know what's wrong with Jamie. If he's backsliding, it's because he's not mixing with the people that are impartial.
Come on, Riley. It's very obvious. He
It's the
just
crowd he
wants
goes
to be
with.
left alone.
He's just hanging with the
Yeah,
wrong crowd.
and he's not an agent like Pete here, so we don't need to worry about him.
Pete who?
Yeah, he's all right. He's
Hmm.
all right.
Pete's not an
Yeah.
agent.
Sure he is. I believe he's an agent.
No.
Yes. Why would he sit here and basically like get ridiculed by everybody? Because why would you do that?
Why would
Because
that make him an
because
agent? If
He's
he-
either being blackmailed or bribed, one of the two.
Paid.
All right. Okay. Well,
I call it a bribe. Yeah.
Well, you'll notice with P when he starts talking, he's in one of two moods. He'll either be in the normal mood where it's normal P, or he'll go, "You got no evidence for gravity," and that's when you know that he doesn't want to be here.
Right, he doesn't want to be here. So if you don't want to be here while you're here, you're an agent. You're either being paid or you're being blackmailed. One of the two.
Yeah, probably blackmailed or paid, maybe.
or,
Nice looking
I heard
back.
about the
or
pictures,
he is
so.
depressed and he really doesn't know what else to do, and he's just
Well, to be
falling
honest,
into he's
he's-
just falling into a habit. That
In
could
P's-
also be the case.
I think he's banned everywhere. I think he's got limited places he can go. Is that right, P?
He uploads these videos as on his
See?
channel. So
He's listening. He's receiving the
I know,
advice.
but
Whether he like it or not,
I want some
he's just
feedback.
taking the advice in.
I
just
think
want
he's
some
watching-
feedback. I want some
he's just-
feedback. I don't like talking about him while he's here.
well, we're not talking behind
Yeah,
his back.
at
he's
least
right
have
here.
the decency to talk behind his back.
No, but I just want to hear his input. Like, are you doing this out of a force of habit, or you really are in the meantime in your head thinking about other things you want to be doing, and you're just stuck here? What is it, Pete?
Globe. I like bringing the globe truth to the flat Earth.
What truth have you ever brought, P?
He's a fan. He's a fan.
So you are just addicted to doing this thing, then?
Well, if you're a Freemason agent, you don't have any right to do anything you want. You do exactly what the lodge tells you to do. Otherwise, you're
truth on it.
Come
torturing
on.
your family.
Come on, Jim.
That's how it works.
Jim, this guy is not a Freemason. Okay.
Yeah, he's an agent. He is. He's at the lodge. He's
Yeah,
probably
but
only
not
an entered
because he's
apprentice.
part of some group.
He's an entered apprentice. He wants to move up the ladder. He can't even get past the first base. So he's hoping that doing this. And
know
same
Freeman.
thing as this Joseph
He
guy
would
that comes
not
spamming my
invite
channel.
So they're not looking for people to defend this thing against
Oh,
flat
yes, they are. They
No,
invented this thing.
no, they want new inventions. They want solutions to the problems.
No, they
That's
want
not
to
out
keep
there.
ideas. They want to keep ideas like radiation is dangerous in the flat Earth and the ball Earth. That's what they want to keep going around here, and so they bring in
Yeah,
people wherever they
they
can.
don't need useless yappers and religious fanatics because that just makes it look bad. They want people that are actually they want people like me, and they can't have me.
All
So,
right, I kind of get a word in. So this is it. If I was not a very social person, that I don't like going out and getting friends and meeting with new people, I will find a good niche in YouTube, and I will argue in whatever circle, either agree or disagree. So Pete is part of the flatter debate, even with whatever his views on the globe. He transmits the after show. You know, he entertains himself. He interact with people, so it's a good way to interact with people through the technology that we have going on. You know, I don't think nothing wrong with that. You know, it's all right.
He hasn't
Where
had a
can I
girlfriend yet. He's hoping for one, so or a
where
boyfriend. I mean.
can I sign up for this Freemason thing?
What about the Freemason thing?
You getting a good paycheck, Apollo?
Yeah, where can I sign up?
All right.
You can
can't.
have some.
They
Well, to
come.
be,
No,
it,
yeah,
Paulo,
you
the
can't.
way
They
it goes is
invite you. That's how it works.
no, they do not invite you to be a Mason. Ask a
Yeah.
Mason.
Yeah,
All
Why
right.
don't you?
yeah,
You can
but they
ask.
don't just allow it. Well, it depends on the group, I guess.
Oh, they allow anyone that'll come in as long as you haven't had a record. They'll bring you in, and even if you have, they'll bring you in. So basically, Apollo, if you want to be a Mason, I would ask Pete. He'll bring you into the lodge. So he'll
Yeah,
he'll
thank
But
you.
vouch
that's
for you.
not really the same.
Shut up, all right. Nobody cares. Okay.
What the hell, dude? No, I've known Freemasons, okay? And yeah, you can go into the busy club, as it were, it's like Boy Scouts for adults. And yeah, they can be very interesting, but that's nothing. That's just a
Our,
social club.
when my entire family was Masons, my father went to Bohemian Grove. I am well aware of the Masons. I know exactly how they work. So
All right,
Oh,
well,
Illuminati
maybe your
confirmed.
dad was part of the more in crowd. Very
yeah,
interesting that you would just say that like that.
Check, check.
yeah. Well, he was a Beta Theta Pi, and he went to Bohemian Grove. My mom was a Kappa Alpha Theta. All Masonic stuff. All the Greek system. That's all Masonic as well.
How about
Illuminati.
you?
Me? Nope. That's why I'm broke and living in the ghetto.
So
I
were
didn't
you
follow
in
the
it and
family.
you just like left because
No, you don't. You do not leave.
right? So
You,
how did you not get into it since your parents were both into it and they are your parents? So
well, my parents are dead now, but I was a stoner, and so I didn't quite fit the bill, so they didn't introduce me
right.
to anybody.
Okay.
So
Right.
no, I never tried to join in the first place. Just had never had any interest. Never joined a fraternity.
Big,
Instead of joining a fraternity at the University of Iowa, I dropped acid instead.
big shout out to the Plain Truth. I haven't heard of him today. You all right, Plain, over there?
Yeah. I'm just driving to the beach. I'm in California, so I'm trying to get to the beach. I couldn't get to my normal spot because of the fires, so they shut down the main highway on the coastline.
Yeah, we got
Just
that.
one
We
word
got,
come to mind when you say California, dude.
no.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And also subscribe to my second channel, Nathan Oakley. After this live stream finishes, the first show, if you were a little bit of a late riser, will get rebroadcast on my second channel, Nathan Oakley. So hit the link in the info box below this video to subscribe and catch the premiere, which also includes the pre-show. So subscribe to Nathan Oakley. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Jose, Flat Earth Vegan Goy, Chocolate Sane, Arwin, and Apollo. Good to have you all.
Hey.
Good morning.
We've also got
Yo,
Daniel.
yo.
How you doing,
Good morning.
Daniel? Can you hear us?
Hello. What?
Good
Our new
morning.
guest. Hey, Daniel.
Ranty, check Skype.
Hello, Daniel.
Hey Nathan, how are you?
Good to have you. Very well, thank you. Did everyone get to say hello? Hello.
Hello.
Good
So,
morning.
Hopefully we'll have a slightly less than an hour-long housekeeping this time. Any signs of curvature?
Nope.
No.
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 Anybody at all?
No.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety, Ranty?
Nope.
No.
Negative.
No.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
There is no distance to the sun.
No.
What is the sun?
Good question.
Somebody got some music
No.
in the background.
What about any evidence that you can have a gas pressure, for all those people who believe in the vacuum of space, without a container?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Not even in theory.
No.
Any
Shout out
scientific
to
evidence of
cats.
gravity, maybe? Scientific evidence of gravity, anybody?
Nope.
No. Aberrations,
Shut up.
suggestions, but it's not a unified
Shut
thing.
up.
No, I'm not shutting up.
There's no
Oh
such
god,
thing as
we're nearly there.
aberration.
We're so
Yeah, there
nearly
is.
there. Two
No,
more
there's
to
not.
go.
Yeah, you already admitted it.
God.
Is that where they terminate the baby?
No.
No, aberrations are different phenomena.
What I admitted, Alvin.
Suggest a unified thing, but it's not really provable. So that makes it an aberration. It's very simple.
What I admitted, Alvin, was that there may be something else going on, but I didn't admit that in the context of aberrations.
Well, that's fine. But this is what it is.
There are no aberrations,
Yeah,
Alvin.
there are. All the
in your mind.
things that I suggested that actually happen, axial alignment shift of the density layers, all that when forces are applied, these are all elements, all pointing
No
at a
forces.
unified force
No
disequilibrium
forces.
downwards, but it's just suggestive. That makes it an aberration, a ghost, a suggestive
if you
thing that's not really there.
Do we have to send out the people with white coats again? Because I will. I'll send them.
Well, that's fine. I'll explain it to them.
Please revisit the old flat Earth debate shows. Arwin with word salad about gravity since early shows. Boom.
There's
Well,
more
and
words
I'll
salad
still
I've
say-
had on this topic
The
than
only
there is
thing
any
that
more.
changes is the declaration that it must be a unified.
Shout out to Alicia Champagne for the super chat. Any signs of Jimmy and his voice changer? Classic, indeed.
Now then.
Yeah, Jimmy with his voice changer.
Yeah, Jimmy with his voice changer. That was comical. So also a massive shout out to Flat Earth Audio, who reverse engineered his voice changer. That was brilliant. So let's I'm going to use
Shout out
that
to
little
Jimmy.
gap. Right. Thank you very much, Alicia. That's just what I needed to get through the end of housekeeping. So any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Paul Voigt.
Oh,
No.
Or
Do
void?
you know what we should do?
No.
Instead of answering no all the time, we should just answer the names of the people that these comments exist in the housekeeping because of.
No.
If people ask us why aren't we answering with a yes or no, then we can explain it to them over again.
Then housekeeping takes a lot longer that way.
No, but we just say like, is there any evidence of a molten iron core? And then we say Paul Voigt. That's all we've got
Exactly.
to say.
That's what I hoped for.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
we
want to
didn't
do
even
that. I don't want to honor them. It's just no.
we didn't even make it
Oh, I
through
do.
housekeeping last
It's an
show
honor.
almost. I mean, it was like
Shame.
the last minute.
Shaming them, not honouring them. So yeah, I mean, we'll plug this because we discussed this at length on the last show. So if you want to tune into Nathan Oakley channel, I'm going to plug it a few times. I won't do this every show, but just on this one. So tune into Nathan Oakley and you'll hear the pre-show where we discussed, it was an hour-long housekeeping, and we essentially attributed all the different names of the people who have failed to answer the housekeeping questions. So people like Rumpus for the R value, and people like, or was it Gravity? My bad. Gravity would be attributed to the Rumpus, and you've got Paul Voigt obviously attributed to the Molten Iron Core, Gas Pressure Without a Container attributed to Conspiracy Cats, Distance to the Sun attributed to Paper Explanator, Gem Panda attributed to the Curvature, you name it. So we can just shout their names out and say, well, where's Gem Panda with the proof of curvature?
Well, he's not going to make an appearance again, is he? He still pushes that thing that he still won't admit that he might be wrong with regards to what he claims against me, despite being shown it. And it's like, well, he's not going to come back in because that's the first thing we're going to ask him about.
Well, let's have a who's got a good memory quiz with the last housekeeping question and see if this format works. So, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius, gentlemen?
No. Red's rhetoric.
No.
So yeah, maybe Red's rhetoric. If you're out there and you've got some evidence of that R value you got raped with, then maybe you could present that. I hear you back on the scene. Lovely. Doors always open.
Bitch.
Wasn't that the question you asked Rumpus like 100 times for the R value?
Probably.
Wasn't that one of those questions?
That's been definitely topped by Conspiracy Cats. So I think I asked 237 times for evidence of gas pressure being maintained without a container.
Yeah, so I mean, it's silly, but if you know these big, massive vacuum chambers, the one particularly where they did the feather dropping at the same rate as the brick, I mean, that's the size of like a grain silo. It's huge, that thing. Can you imagine having that vacuum, right, and then trying to get 10 psi or 3 psi in a bubble in the middle? I mean, it's never, ever going to happen, but that's what you've got to believe if you believe that we live on a ball.
And there's space beyond that ball.
And force... Still force applied, even if you assume gravity is a force. You can simulate this in a huge centrifuge that goes in astronomically fast. Still, a vacuum will not start to appear at the center of it because entropy just trumps any other type of force.
Absolutely, entropy's a bitch if you're a globehead. Shout out to Johnny for the 79 pence. Much obliged. Really appreciate the support. I didn't know you could put 79 pence into a super chat.
I think if you put in $1, that's the conversion, isn't it?
Ah, right, okay. So it puts it in pounds now. Oh, great. Cool.
So, where were we?
I think I was plugging my second channel and the premiere of the Uncut show that's just been broadcast live in case anybody didn't watch it. I'm sure that's where we were at. No? Clearly not.
No, we've done it. We've done it. Let's move on.
Okay, fine. So we also discussed Conspiracy Cats on the show that will premiere just after this one finishes. So yeah, if you want to know about Conspiracy Cats and just how wrong he is and how he's a bleeding victim, then you can check that out too.
I just want people to realise that Conspiracy Cats has completely misrepresented Ranty's boat thing last night on Non-Sec. If you haven't seen it, go and check it, and it's terrible. To completely misrepresent it gives one of three scenarios. Either he's stupid and he's not stupid, so that's not one of the possible ones. Or it is possible, but not likely. He knows it's a misrepresentation and does it anyway, so that'll be recklessness. Or he does it intentionally to deceive the non-sequitur audience to think that Ranty somehow has debunked flat Earth. And it's one or the other, but I can't understand why you would make these silly assertions and then make other assertions to do with Polaris, then produce zero evidence for other than a diagram, and then claim that it's the same. And then when I present evidence that shows that the stars don't move at the same rate that he thinks that they do, that debunks his all arguments, which inadvertently supports ours. As the stars get to the horizon, it's because they're getting further away from you, not because they're going around a ball or the Earth's rotating or whatever. It's because the stars are going further away from you. If they weren't going further away from it, it would be a constant speed. So shout out to Mick West for pointing that one out, mate. Well done. You've just proved that it's a flat plane.
Yeah, I'd like to quote the rumpus in chat. Riley, you are a moron. Conspiracy Cats accurately represented Ranty's boat video. You utter moron.
Is that what he's put?
No, Rumpus, you're a liar. That is not what Conspiracy Cats did. I played it. So you either didn't see it or you're doing exactly what Conspiracy Cats did, which is misrepresenting what's really happening. So either way, you're a liar, Rumpus, because you know what the position is. The boats don't go over the horizon. Whatever happens to the boats seems to be caused by the angle of attack that you seem to be ridiculing.
Sorry,
we don't quite understand why it does it, but it certainly seems to be doing it. So whatever's going on, Rumpus, it's not down to the boats dropping behind the curve that you morons profess that it is.
Yeah, you had a juxtaposition there, which I forgot to point out on the last show. So you say going over the horizon. What is the horizon exactly, Anthony?
It's an imaginary point where the sky appears to meet the sea.
So boats go over an imaginary point where the sky apparently meets the sea, or land, or whatever else is in your focal range.
Apparently.
Right, so it's going over an imaginary line.
Apparently.
Right, and they say that imaginary line's the curve of the Earth?
That's what they say.
And how do they get to the conclusion that that's the curve of the Earth? Would it be with an assumption of R and a calculator?
I think it was to do with some bloke that had sticks in the ground. Their version of Jesus.
Oh, right. So, see a shadow on a light in the sky, decide the Earth is a sphere, and go from there. Always assume R from there on in whenever making any measurements. Insert it where it is not. And then you've got sphere proof all over the place, right? No. Affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy, begging the question on steroids. These people are fallacious and religious. They just have belief in R.
Praise Helios. Praise Aristophanes. He's the son of Helios.
Praise R. Radius Dominus Gravitas Spiritus Sanctus R win. Go in peace, globeheads, in R you trust.
So, what is this stuff about aperture? Does aperture dictate how far you can see with a lens?
What dictates? I didn't quite catch that. You're a bit muffled for some reason. I don't know if you're on the wrong mic.
Let me check.
I think there's a correlation with his muffleness and his drunkenness.
He's allowed to be drunk. Nothing wrong with that. It's weekend.
Yeah, you're not on that microphone. Tap that again. Nope,
No,
that's
you're
not
not
your
on that
active microphone. Nope.
Yeah, that's the one you're on.
Oh.
Yeah. just cog settings and hang out. Just change it.
Yeah. Oh, you're drunk.
He's literally just fallen over. Oh no, it's the mic. It was the camera.
1 second.
Yeah, you need to swap your mic over. No.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, it's still the wrong mic.
Yeah, go into the settings and hang out.
We can see you, we can hear you. So
Okay, so this one is just...
You're too close to the mic.
Just talk into the camera. Just look at the camera and talk to that, because that's actually the mic.
Hey.
Oh no!
Kiss the camera.
Oh God! What a shambles!
What the hell?
Okay.
There we go. That's the right.
Are you
mic
in
now.
having a party? Yeah.
It's all good. We're good. We're good.
No.
Sorry, you said about.
Are you actually drunk?
Yeah. I'm fucking...
It does seem that way.
My head hurts.
So what was your
Michael,
question?
what was your
Something
question?
Any
about-
particular reason?
No, just I wanted to have some good beer, so I
If
got
your head
some.
hurts now, just wait till tomorrow.
You got leffe?
Yeah.
Just drink a glass of water or two.
Or 10.
Yeah, maybe I will. I should. One
It'll help
moment.
with a headache.
Okay, Dad.
Hey, real quick, did anybody see the moon last night?
Is the moon out now? Can anyone see it?
I certainly had
Yeah,
reports.
it was out last. It was
Yeah.
out last night here in California. It was just beginning to wax, and the color was dark orange because of the fires that are out here.
Oh, cool. Did you get any shots?
I didn't. I was en route, and it came out because the the smoke was obscuring the sky for most of the night, so that when I did see it, it was too late. But it'll be out tonight, and I'll be up in the foothills of California, so hopefully I'll be a little bit farther away, and I'll try to get some shots.
So how long has it been since you last saw the moon?
3 days.
It was 3.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Bit of a problem if you believe that we live on a spinning ball with the moon that orbits us, because it can't go missing. It's supposed to be in the sky, guys.
Oh, what I did yesterday morning, when I was leaving Baltimore, I did take a picture of my sky app, and the moon was up in the sky in the early morning at probably a 30 to 40 degree angle from the sun. So I'll have to try to put that stuff together and do a short presentation just for the record.
Before the first show, which will get premiered on my second show, subscribe today, link in the info box. You were talking about the fires, so how are you getting on?
Well, right now it's just hazy. You know, it's I'm right near the Pacific Coast Highway where they've blocked off the southern route. You can't drive down there because the fires are right up to the highway, I suppose. But yeah, it's just hazy.
Okay.
Where I'm at, there's no threat right now. There'd be no way for the fires to get to where we are because there's nothing to burn.
But can you see them? Can you see them though?
It's all development.
Can you see the fires?
Not from where I'm at. No, there's a huge mountain, a huge foothill range between me and the fires. So the only way would be if the fires came up over the foothills. But there's nothing substantial there to burn right now.
Certainly, I've been around high event horizon. I've been around when there's been an active volcano and there's been like ash all over my car and everything else for that matter. Is it the same when there's fires?
Say that again.
You get ash on everything?
Well, I'd have to look at my sister's cars to see if she's got anything there, but the Santa Ana winds are blowing right now, so we're getting a lot of the eastern winds blowing west, and it'll just take it straight out to the ocean, I'm sure.
Right. That dynamic system that we live in.
Okay. Now then, I drank some water. It didn't really do anything. I mean, I still feel dizzy.
No. The water is for your headache later on when you have to recover.
Okay. Thank you. So, what is this stuff about aperture? Does aperture dictate how far you can see in the distance?
No, it dictates the diffraction limit. The point that you will get something going from 1 pixel to no pixels, and the in-between stage when you see it split into 2. That weird effect is diffraction, and that's at the camera end. So it kind of bugs me when people are like, oh, we're seeing diffraction over there on the ocean at that island or whatever. No, the diffraction limit is this end, it's the camera end, and that's dictated by the aperture of the camera. Now, I recently found out, I don't know if you know this, Anthony, the P900 and the P1000 have the same aperture. Did you know that? Yeah,
I thought the aperture was the size of the hole that the light passes through.
Correct. And it's the same on both cameras, as far as I can tell when I researched it.
Oh, so the only difference is the glass size?
Well, not the glass, the hole. The aperture's the hole.
Yeah, I know, but the lens is physically bigger on the P1000, right?
Well, yeah, the lens. That'll give you a better zoom, but the diffraction limit...
design.
Say again.
It's a... The P9000 has a different optical design compared to the P1000.
Correct. I mean, it's got a totally different zoom setup, but ultimately speaking, the aperture is the same, and the aperture is what dictates the diffraction limit of that camera.
So, the aperture determines the resolving power of the lens, the resolution, the lines per millimeter it can resolve.
Sort of. So if you take Ranty's images of the egg and the ring, how that image is made up, what it looks like in terms of how much refraction effects, as they were formerly known, you're seeing with the mirage below the egg and the Buddha, and how much stretching you'll get, that's all down to the aperture. So if he was doing that exact same thing with the P900 and 1000 next to each other, I would expect to see a bigger image on the P1000, but the actual effect would be the same on both cameras because the aperture's the same. You just see more of it. You could zoom in more and see a bigger picture from the P1000.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. I'm gonna get out of here for the day. I'm gonna go out with the family. I'm gonna take a ferry to go to another piece of the Gulf over here in Texas. I'm gonna take my P900, make some observations, upload a little bit of footage later, and then see the magic that I will catch with the P900 and share it with you, all of you guys.
Cool,
Thank
man.
you very much.
Jose.
See you later, dude.
See you, buddy.
Adios.
Later, man.
Did anybody see the
Watch
latest?
Coriolis Force not spitting you off the earth.
Did anybody see the latest infrared footage from? Is it JT Media? I've forgotten the full name of his channel. Hey, Peanuts.
Jatola Media.
That's it. 750 miles plus.
Yeah, he did one. His other one prior to that was 1,000 miles plus. It was the Hudson.
Knocking it out of the park, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's still more on still. I mean, I don't. It doesn't. He's under promoted, that guy, because I don't know how you can look at that and think that you're looking at a sphere. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so about going back to aperture, I have two lenses with the same focal length. One Vivitar third-party lens and one Canon high-quality lens. And I set both of them to the same aperture, let's say f4. The Canon lens will be sharper than the Vivitar lens. So I think optical quality is more important than the aperture.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, if you've got a fuzzy picture, you're not going to see the diffraction limit being breached. So if you had a poor quality lens for the images of the Isle of Man, for instance, yeah, it might be the case that you're seeing that mirage of the Morgord lighthouse below itself. But if it's all fuzzy and you can't make it out, then it's all for nothing, right? So yeah, optical quality is critical. Hey, those people at the bottom of this aisle don't seem to have any feet. What's going on?
I'm betting Rumpus in chat. It's doable.
Can you raise up? Is it Peanuts? Just raise up because you've got some people down at the bottom. Oh no, it's all gone blurry.
Somebody's Skype calling you.
Anthony. Not me. Here we go. Now he's in sharp focus. Let's see what happens. Oh, semi-sharp focus.
I'm thinking about this.
This kid's getting smaller and disappearing from the bottom up. Must be curve.
So I wonder what keeps the sun rotating around the equator.
It's got all that background noise. Is that you, Travis?
What?
Just pop yourself on mute.
Because if the sun is just like hydrogen gas coming from the Earth, and then it finally gets high enough and joins the rest of the sun, what keeps it rotating around the equator? Well, is it the moon? They're sort of connected, do you think? Or I was thinking about that last night. What's holding the sun in place? Or why does it keep spinning rather than just like going in a direction somewhere?
It's R-based architecture, dude. Come on.
What?
It's R-based architecture.
No, I'm talking about if it is a flat plane, right? And the sun is rotating in a certain spot. So what's keeping it in that spot?
Who knows? No idea what the sun is. Good question.
What spot? It's only a visual. It's a virtual visual phenomena. So it is not in a spot. It's not being kept anywhere. It's not
You
an
don't
object.
think it's it could be a hydrogen bubble in the
No.
sky?
Absolutely not.
Well,
Why not?
absolutely not. We've got no way of knowing either way. It's one of a million possibilities, Arwen.
No, it's
could be the
inapproachable.
hydrogen
No,
bubble,
I
like-
disagree. It's inapproachable. And all the evidences so far suggest that it is virtual. You can't approach it. You can't go straight forward to it and then it'll become bigger. Haven't seen any even remote evidence for that. Only in movies.
But where would all the hydrogen be then? If
It's not
hydrogen is lighter
hydrogen.
than air, and it's
Hydrogen has
going up
nothing to
into the
do with
sky,
it.
it has to
Hydrogen
be
has
going
nothing to
somewhere.
do with it.
Yes, it does. I think, Aaron. I don't think
Why?
you're.
Why?
I don't think
Why
you're
does
open enough
daylight
to
have
other
to do
people's
anything
ideas.
with hydrogen?
Because hydrogen is lighter than air. It's the lightest gas that we know of.
So
it's
how
probably
does
up
that
there with a
relate
bubble
to the
somewhere.
daylight? How does hydrogen transform into daylight? Let's go.
Well, if it gets to a certain, if it's high enough in the sky, it might just start to combust.
What?
Okay, hold on real
Why?
quick. Listen, just hold on real quick.
It's like the
Don't
Yeah, but
pressure holding
that
the
sense
molecules
the
together
entire
just isn't there anymore.
atmosphere would enflame if
All right,
that was
hold
possible.
on, just real quick. Who's talking?
Daniel
Who's
and
the guy
Arwen.
talking about hydrogen? Daniel?
I think so.
Daniel. Can you justify the facts that you're relying upon to say that there is a collection of hydrogen burning up in the sky? What are you basing this claim on?
Well, if I had to take the hydrogen, right, and I let it all out, where does it go? It goes up into
Okay,
the sky.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you a question. That phenomenon that we see in the sky that seems to be a circular yellow disc, sphere, whatever. How
Yeah,
are
could be a
you
ball of hydrogen.
making the claim?
Like you don't
Okay,
have
I'm
to
asking
believe
you.
that the Earth is
Hold
a
on,
ball
Daniel. Hold on.
to think that the sun is still a ball of hydrogen.
Daniel, come on. Let Travis finish.
I'm trying to ask you a question. How are
You're
you
asking it
getting
pretty
from?
slow. I mean, just
Come
just
on,
ask
Daniel. Stop interrupting.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. Let Travis
Alright,
finish
shut
his.
up.
Go, Travis.
Okay.
No, I mean like
Daniel, how are you?
It could be that.
Okay, Daniel.
That's a better
How are
explanation than
you?
it just being something.
What
Right.
in the
Travis,
world, dude?
go.
Shut
Go,
up.
Travis.
Shut up, Daniel.
Go.
How are you moving from observing a yellow circle in the sky to that is a hydrogen bomb fusion burning in the sky? How do you make one leap from one to the other?
Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, sorry, Daniel, I muted you because you can't interrupting. Please unmute yourself and respond to the question.
Yeah, please don't mute people in the Hangout. If they're going to interrupt, just let them interrupt. You're on mute at the moment, Daniel.
You have to unmute yourself by clicking on the red microphone icon at the top of your screen.
Correct. Yeah.
Did you get the question, Daniel?
What was the last question?
The question that's been put to you by Plain Truth is, how do you go from circle of yellow in the sky to burning ball of hydrogen?
Well, there's a lot of hydrogen coming from the Earth, and I thought it's probably going somewhere. And everybody knows that like that's the lightest gas. So like, I was just thinking about it. So I mean, if you guys think it's like a ridiculous thought, then that's okay. But
Right. So you're thinking it's like the sun is like a vacuum cleaner for hydrogen, just
well, what
hanging
really
there.
made me think of it was when you guys were talking about, there being a bubble in a vacuum. And I was thinking about something different. Like, what if the sun was just a big bubble of gas sitting up there
Yeah,
burning?
but how could it be that? There's entropy. How would
Yeah,
that
but
bubble just sit there in a ball shape? That doesn't make
well,
any sense.
if you do release gas into, so if you release a lighter gas into a denser gas, it probably would collect. So there would be like you
Yeah,
wouldn't be
and
able
it
to
would
see it,
move
but
upwards. That's the only direction it's going to move up. That's it. How
upwards
does that
until it gets high enough
explain an
where it
arc
can't
of a
go up any.
ball
Like
of light?
how
How does that explain the arc? It
high
moves
up do you
upwards. That's
think
the only thing you get to
hydrogen
see.
goes, Arwen? Like where does it stop going up?
Yeah, but how does that make any sense? Look, if you release a bubble of gas, that's fine. Yeah, it might cling to itself, but
Yeah.
it's only going to move up. It's only as long as it's actually allowed to move upwards. Otherwise, if it hits the ceiling, it will disperse horizontally.
There's a ceiling, you said?
No, just saying in general, if you release a huge quantity of hydrogen gas, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it will probably be in a bubble, move upwards. And if there's a ceiling in a way, it'll bump into it, spread out. And then, okay, yeah, if you release it in the open air, it might travel upwards, but that's the only thing it's going to do. It's
So
not
if
going to,
it,
it's
but
not
how
going to
high will
just
it go? I
at
mean,
some
if it
point
do,
just sit there and especially not like twirl around in an arc constantly. That doesn't make any sense.
but
How
that's what
could
the
that
sun
work?
does,
How
Arwen. And
how
I mean,
could
you've
that do
seen the
that?
experiment with the egg, and you put enough salt in there to the point where the egg
Yeah,
is
but
in
only up
like
and down. It's not an
equilibrium.
arc. It's not an arc across the sky. How
I know, Arwen. That
up
was
and
what my
down?
first question is. What do you think the sun, like, why is the sun rotating around the equator? Like, what's keeping it in that rotation?
The pattern.
Okay,
Whatever is causing the light, it has a certain pattern, which is probably has a lot to do with
we've now
mirror
lost the
reflecting
point though.
systems.
Let's get back to the point of the fact that he said it has to go somewhere, so it's probably collecting. Okay, there's again, all that is speculation. You're simply
Well,
speculating. You're simply being
Travis,
Aristophanes.
have
You're
you
simply
ever,
being
like,
Copernicus.
no, Travis, have you experimented with gases, different density gases, and how they
Yeah,
collect?
we've
I mean,
seen.
do you know, or you just,
Okay, have you ever experimented? Sure, I understand your question, but that does not then jump to the conclusion of a burning fusion ball. So the question is, okay, have you
no,
ever
I didn't say it
done
was a fusion ball.
observations?
That's not what I said.
Okay, a burning ball of hydrogen. How about that? Is that okay?
Well, that's what I said. So,
So how does
Okay,
that
so
work?
you okay, hold on, Harwin, please. Hold on. Okay, so if you are postulating that the sun is a collection of hydrogen that is burning, and you are now asking me if I've ever observed gases collecting, are you telling me that you have observed gases collecting into the form of a sphere and then burning?
well, that's
Have
what
you?
bubbles are.
They're burning. They're on fire.
No, bubbles are collections of,
Okay,
can
so
be a
here's
collection
my
of gas.
okay,
It has
right
a
here,
membrane, right? A
right.
bubble.
This is an
So,
issue. This is an issue of false equivalency. Okay, you're making a
Travis,
connection
you
with.
don't even know what you know about the sun is less than what I'm putting out there.
That's got nothing to do with anything,
No,
Daniel.
we know more. We
Oh,
recognize
you know
certain
Okay,
more.
hold
You
elements.
on,
can't
hold
have
We
on,
no
Arwen,
recognize
please.
explanation
the
for it.
real elements about it. You completely fantasize about all of it.
All right,
That's
Arwen,
the
please let me just
difference.
try to
So
have
we
a
do know more.
conversation. Arwen, please let me just try to have a conversation with Daniel again. Daniel, so here I've had conversations with heliocentrists who say, if I say to them, water doesn't bend, they say, well, what about a water droplet? And I say, are we talking about water droplets? No, we're not talking about bubbles, Daniel. We're not talking about bubbles. Is the sun a bubble? No?
It could
Then
be
why
a
are we
bubble.
talking? Okay, you say
It
it
could be a bubble
be.
of hydrogen gas. You don't know. There's
Okay,
no way to
that's
disprove
right.
it.
An ignited bubble. You're right.
Okay,
Makes a lot
listen,
of sense.
again, all you're doing is a thought exercise, an idea. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's Eratosthenes, that's Copernicus. All these guys were metaphysicists thinking about what possibly could be. That's it.
Philosophy.
Yeah, but you could even replicate. You could create an experiment where if you had.
Yeah, I have
Really? Do it.
I
Do
have
it.
no interest in doing that.
Well, you do it. You do it.
Okay.
You show
Yeah,
how a
that's-
burning
I'm-
ball of gas will sit happily in a bubble. Right?
Maybe
You
it
show
would. I've never tried to do
Go.
anything
Maybe
like
it
that.
would. Yeah,
Go.
maybe.
Go
This
for
is,
it.
Well,
this is
you would
just
start by
incredible.
trying to make bubbles of hydrogen in the
Go for it.
You've been joined by
But
Zinda.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you in
you guys are
advance.
just
Sorry, guys.
really
Hydrogen,
hello.
when
Sorry
you
to
actually
interrupt.
light it
Hello,
up,
Owen.
tends
Hello.
to explode.
Hello. Hey, Zinda. How you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. You guys?
Good to have you.
How are you doing? Thank you.
The problem
Dan-
with hydrogen being lit up is it doesn't gradually burn like a bunch of coals. No, it actually explodes instantly. Boom. Especially if there's plenty of oxygen
at regular
around.
pressure. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
know
the
what
only time
how it burns
I've
at
ever
different pressures.
the only time I've ever read of possibly hydrogen gas being collected into a ball of fire is when Gandalf was up in the trees with the rest of the hobbits, and he was throwing fireballs down at the goblins that were coming up to catch those pesky little birds up in the tree.
No, but that's not gas-based. That's actually
No, it
but that's
was.
based in extra. That's extraplanar. That's electrostatic. You could call it.
No, I'm pretty sure it was a hydrogen ball that
Sorry, it
Gandalf
was
was
my geek.
throwing.
I had to do that.
Yeah, Daniel, ultimately we have to just come to, I suppose, an agreement that you are simply postulating an idea that you cannot verify, nor can you
I could
establish.
verify
Hold
it
on,
if I could
I'm trying to
replicate it.
finish my sentence, please.
I
You
know, but
can't
you're saying something that's not
okay,
true.
no,
I mean,
I
you
haven't
guys
finished. You
designed an
cannot know what
experiment
I'm
that proved
saying.
or that
You
could
can't
show
know
it.
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying because I haven't finished what I said, okay? Or what I
yeah,
haven't
just
said.
cutting you off where you're wrong.
Right, yeah. So you have no way of validating your idea, nor do you have any substance to propose your idea. You don't have an
there's substance
observation.
because hydrogen is being released from the Earth and it's going
Okay.
somewhere.
Yes, that has nothing
Right.
to do with your postulation that that hydrogen is collecting into a sphere that is then burning.
Well,
You
it
don't
sort of
have
just
any
makes sense to me, like,
substantial
hydrogen can
basis
burn.
to make your
It can't-
claim. First
it
of all,
could
you
be
don't
is
have
what
any
I'm saying, like,
substantial basis to
what
make
if
your
it was
claim.
like this?
Secondly, you have nothing to validate your claim. Two things. You can't substantiate your claim and you can't validate your claim.
Right.
Are you agreeing with me? You just said right. Are you agreeing with me?
No.
Okay, then please substantiate your claim that you can have a burning ball of hydrogen anywhere. Self-perpetuating, by the way.
What do you mean self-perpetuating?
Well, it's an endless supply of
well, see,
of
this is the
burning
thing, Travis.
ball of hunk of love.
You have selective hearing because I started off by saying the hydrogen is being released from the ground and it's going up. So that's where
Okay, yes,
the
but you
energy's
seem
coming
to have a selective selective hearing as
Right.
well, because you have no way of proving that hydrogen is going to the sun. It could be going up from the earth. Yeah,
It's
sure.
going up
Okay.
into the sky, you idiot. Where do you think it's ending up?
I am not disputing that, Daniel. I'm not disputing that. What I'm disputing is that your hydrogen is thereby somehow
No, I
going
think,
to the
Travis, that
sun.
you should actually just listen to people's ideas a little bit more before you just want to go on the total opposite side
All
of
right,
it all.
I'm willing to be corrected. Does anybody on the panel think that what Daniel just said about my attitude is correct?
No.
No. I'd like Daniel to
Did I hear?
explain himself clearer.
I heard one no. Does anybody else? Sustain what Daniel said?
No, I want Daniel to explain himself clearer.
It appears you might be wrong again, Daniel.
Wrong about what? An idea of what the sun could be?
No,
It's
your
just wrong.
accusation of the fact. No, your accusation of the fact. Again, see, you're missing the point. You're not even listening to me. You just made a statement about my attitude where
No, because
I'm not
Travis,
listening
multiple
to.
times you're putting words in my mouth. Like I said, it could be a burning ball of hydrogen, right? Then you said, "Oh, it's Daniel's saying it's just a fusion bomb up in the fucking sky." Like
No
what?
swearing, please.
Calling it to the standard rhetoric. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I was just using standard rhetoric. I wasn't trying to put words into your mouth. So, fine. Go back to a burning ball of hydrogen.
Well,
Fine.
The supply of it would be just the hydrogen being released from the ground. Like it comes
Okay,
from everywhere.
what evidence do you have that the hydrogen that's being released from the ground is coalescing into that ball? Are you just assuming that it's got to go somewhere? Does it all go to it? Does some of the hydrogen go to it? Does 25% of the hydrogen go to it? Does all of the hydrogen released from the Earth go to the sun? 100% to fuel. If I breathe it, what?
Right. Okay. I mean, if this is how you want to argue with people or conversate, that's you, Travis. It's just
conversate. Okay.
You're just not very open to other people's ideas, I believe. Like it just.
Oh, really?
Well,
really?
what's your like? Do you even think about the sun and what it is? Like, what do you think it is? Some light in the sky. It's not actually
there's no way for me
physically
to validate
connected to the Earth below it.
There's no way for me to validate anything that I could speculate, Daniel.
Yeah, well, at least I'm putting an idea out there. I don't care if you guys don't like it or not. Like, it's just an idea.
Right, sure. Okay, that's fine. And I have no interest in ideas that can't be validated or even substantiated. You still haven't substantiated.
I think what I came up with isn't too far from like being able to validate.
Right, and my statement to you is that's exactly what Eratosthenes and Copernicus did. When they looked up in the sky and made observations, they had no clue what they were looking at, and so all they did was speculate. That speculation is now mainstream science with no validation whatsoever.
Well, in my idea, at least there's a supply of fuel for the sun.
Why is this hydrogen not going to the moon? The moon's closer. It's got a gravitational pull of its own. Why is the hydrogen not going to the moon? Why is it going to the sun?
Hold on, Event Horizon. So, Daniel, are you actually just speculating this, or are you actually trying to tie it into the mainstream narrative with the distances to the moon and sun in place?
Well, I don't believe that we're on a ball or anything like that. I'm just trying to think about where the energy from the sun comes from.
Okay. So, does that answer your question, Event Horizon? Because I don't think he's obeying those sort of rules in terms of how far the sun is.
That's fine.
All
right, so I'll just do a quick follow-up.
Power or energy from the sun is coming from. Like, what's your thought on it?
No idea.
You just have
no
idea.
Answering. Absolutely no idea. I have no idea what the sun is. Neither of you. You can speculate all you like. It's one of 1,000 options. I'm not saying it's wrong. Definitely isn't confirmed as being right. Anybody else know what the sun is?
Anyway.
Anybody else? Who knows what the sun is? Hands up.
I haven't got a clue.
No, I don't. But isn't there a method to see what the sun is made of by looking at its light?
Well, spectroscopy, you mean?
Spectroscopy or something?
Spectroscopy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or is it just speculating or like assuming things?
Well, yeah. So have you not heard my transsexual spectroscopy example?
Is it affirmative consequent?
Yeah.
I like this example. So you're standing across a lake and you've got your P900 and you look across the lake and what you see on the other side is what appears to be a beautiful woman in a dress. Long flowing hair, nice dress, high heels, the full shebango. And from that position, you've got to decide whether or not you're going to marry that woman. Yeah? So you can't physically touch her. You've only got what you see in the P900. So you get out some equipment and you start testing the the air and seeing if there's any pheromones in the air or whatever. And you get all sorts of readings and you assess them, and then you decide that, yeah, it's definitely a woman. And then you go over and meet her, and what do you know? She's got a cock. So,
Did she start out with that, or
assessing things based on visual only is step one in the scientific method. Make an observation of a phenomena, right? Then you try and establish the cause of the phenomena. Well, all that astronomy can do is observe phenomena. They can't establish the cause of that effect. They can just speculate, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Just speculating.
Yeah, we can't interact with those objects, even in a heliocentric model. We can't go to the stars and see how they look. We just can watch those from Earth and speculate what those are and see what those are most likely with the methods we have right now. But I know you can't test it for yourself. I agree.
Well, so it's fine, speculation, logical deduction, that's all we've got. But that doesn't prove it is what anybody asserts it is. And without that, I can only say I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know either. I just can repeat what astronomers say, or I can choose to believe them, or I can choose to say, I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean,
more power to those who want to believe. The fusion reactor, or whatever they class it to be, hydrogen being fused into helium, being fused into ever more heavy metals, and then eventually that will burn out, die, implode, and create gold, which will fly out into all of the known universe and eventually coalesce with all the other metals because of gravity. You can believe all that shite if you want to.
But it is a beautiful concept, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely. I thought it was amazing. I remember watching.
It's great for movies.
Yeah, I remember. Well, not even movies. I remember watching Gold Rush, just like a like a fly on the wall documentary series where they're just going and watching people dig gold out of the ground. And at the time, I was well into the heliocentric belief, and how gold was formed in the center of dying stars was just so romantic an idea. They dig, it flies out into space when the star explodes and coalesces, and then they dig it out of the ground when it's been forced up through various different effects of the ground and evolution, time, and all the other magical things that go along with these explanations for how gold comes into existence. Well, it's born in the dying heart of a star. Wow, isn't that amazing? Total bullshit. Made up. Nobody knows that to be true. But that's the current narrative.
Well, they cover it really well. I mean, I don't know how easily accessible the data is that these space agencies produce, but they do a really good job in covering this thing. I mean, I think those are thousands of terabytes they produce every day. And I don't know if I could access these data even. I mean, I couldn't understand the data, of course. I couldn't do anything with it because I don't have the knowledge. But yet they claim to have a lot of proof, So many people believe it because they can't really disprove this data in a certain way. You can't just say the data is fake or generated, but you can't look at the data and say why and what exactly is wrong with it, right?
No. So, you can definitely tag that it's not science and that they're not establishing causes of anything, and all they have is observing phenomena. They can observe phenomena all day long. But I just want to answer Pete Shea in the chat. He says, so what's gold? Well, gold is the debris, the remains, the leftovers of a dying star. So these metals get fused, according to the mainstream narrative as it stands, in the heart of a supernova.
Yeah, I never fully understood the process of supernovas. I mean, I know that as they say, the element, it burns the element, it fuses them until it becomes iron. So iron can't be fused in a star anymore because it's too heavy. And this is like the dead end. And then it starts to, the gravity starts to take over and it pulls everything inside, and then it explodes again, and then it pulls inside again. And then you have a supernova, but never understood the process of it. Maybe it's a little bit too much for me to understand it. Or maybe it's just bullshit. I don't know.
Well, it's total bullshit. It's the same as Thea. So if you go and have a look at what they currently accept as the explanation for how the moon formed, there was a planet circling the sun in the heliocentric model, of course, and it's on an ever closing trajectory with Earth, and eventually it strikes Earth at a glancing blow and deposits its own molten iron core into Earth, which is why we have such a large core that's still warm even after millennia. So that's the story. This planet called Thea smashes into Earth, doesn't destroy it, but hits it a glancing blow, and the debris, the top layer of Earth, is smashed off, as are the remains of Thea, apart from the molten iron core in Thea, which coalesces with Earth, and the remains come together to form the moon. That's how, according to the current narrative, the moon was formed. Now, there's absolutely zero evidence to back that story. It's all it is. It's just a story. But that's the current story for how the moon came into existence. Bullshit. Just made up. Just a story.
Yeah.
Same with how gold is formed in stars. Just a story.
What I don't really understand is, we have uranium on Earth. This is a really, really heavy material, right? So why is there iron in the middle? Why isn't there like uranium in the center? Because it's one of the heaviest, and then like
I think it's
later iron, or I don't really understand it.
Well, that's because of the heavy.
The heaviest element in the middle of the Earth.
Better. This is the heavy bombardment. So when the Earth was first formed, it was entirely molten. It's being formed from great big collisions during the heavy bombardment, and it develops as a consequence of that a molten iron core. It's not like the sun's version of this where it's fusing things into ever heavier materials. What we're left with in their version of what was space is all these particles which will eventually coalesce through gravity. Those particles having been formed in the heart of a dying star at some stage when it's gone supernova and blasted out throughout the galaxy, and eventually gravity's caused it to coalesce. But in that process you end up with the planet having a molten iron core that slowly cools. Now, according to their narrative, it should have cooled a long time ago, and then you have enter Thea, with its own core added to ours, so we have an extra big core keeping us nice and toasty.
Yeah. I thought the inside of the Earth is still hot because the radioactive decay of radioactive elements, which produces heat. I thought this was the official explanation why it's still so warm inside the Earth. I didn't know that it is just so that it was hot before and still is being hot after 4.5 billion years. This is a really long time, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got time machines. They went back and validated it. Anyway, Pete Shea, I'm going to read out his comment. Normally his mumblings are totally incoherent, but on this occasion they're not. A dying star, R.E. Starkus, is described as the depicted tree of line, gold, AU, is actually material from veins of the giant chrysalis tree. Is that right? Aristarchus aura. I probably butchered that. It's a bit fuzzy for me on my screen. Yeah, okay, Pete. First time that you've had a rambling that actually seemed to make some sort of coherent sense with the subject at hand. Jolly good. There's a gap on the panel if you want to talk and expand on that, Pete, rather.
Yeah, so the official explanation why we have gold on the surface of the Earth, as you said, is because it was added later after the Earth formed with asteroids and comets crashing into Earth, bringing those materials. Because otherwise, all the heavy elements wouldn't be accessible for us. They would be in the middle of the Earth. Because, as we know, heavy things tend to go down when Earth is still liquid or fluid. If it is true, then in the middle should be also gold inside the molten iron core.
No,
and other
the pressures aren't high enough. So in order to achieve this, I can't believe I'm just parroting the narrative, man. It makes me feel a bit sick. But yeah, the pressures that are created when it goes supernova are what is necessary according to the narrative to make gold come into existence. So you wouldn't necessarily just have it at the center of Earth in their bullshit molten iron core. It's got to be when the sun implodes and then explodes, supernova.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about gold was created. I was talking about the dust that at the end Earth was created from. The Earth was created by this gravitational pull, etc. And so heavy elements that already were there, like gold and iron and so on, started to sink towards the middle of the Earth because it was still molten, according to the heliocentric model. So my assumption was then that gold and heavy elements should be in the middle of the Earth, not that they were created in the Earth itself, but that they should sink toward it.
No,
right?
So the reason the sun has them at the center is because of that being part of the process of it fusing the elements together and them getting heavier and heavier and going towards the center. Whereas, as you rightly point out, in the narrative of the heliocentric model, you've just got them all being coalesced. So yeah, they're all in not in equal parts, but they're all equally dispersed until they coalesce. So yes, you've got equal amounts of gold dispersed amongst the iron and whatever other elements you've got that are making the original formation of Earth in the heliocentric religion. But that coalesce, whatever the word is, coalition of those materials doesn't mean that they'd automatically push the heavier elements to the bottom. And I can't remember the exact way the narrative explains how they get to the top, but through a process of the evolution of Earth's crust, they work their way to the top, and then rivers and all that sort of stuff.
But Nathan, you know that's nonsense. We know that's nonsense, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Of course it's nonsense. I'm just parroting the narrative. Like I say, there is a little bit of sick in my throat as I do it.
So you did a terrible job at reading out my comment there, but really what my point was within this narrative that we are told, can there be any truth gleaned? In other words, is a greater story being told through the fabrication? Now, if I was to ask you, which was my original question, we know what gold isn't then. We know what the Earth isn't. When it comes to what it is or what it may be, have you any idea? That's what I wanted to know.
No idea. I mean, they tell us what's on the very, very, very thin top layer and the quantities and therefore the averages. But that's all we got to go on, right?
Right, but you still have an active mind yourself and you're about the truth. So when I write what I write here, it's because I've been trying to figure out what's going on. And when I mentioned Aristarchus in a hyphenated fashion, it was to especially draw attention to the star in the middle. We are stardust. We are told all these heavier metals come from the center of dying stars. And what I'm trying to say to you is that this is a sort of a metaphor telling us or giving us clues anyway as to what gold actually is, or who we actually are, or what the Earth actually is, or what the sun actually is, or what a star actually is. And as you know, I bring everything back to Aristarchus. But I know it's not just me as well. So you might laugh and scoff at Aristarchus, but it is a real feature in this reality, whatever it may be, because it features so prominently, especially on the moon. So that's where I'm coming from. And it does take a little bit of thinking to try and understand it. But I certainly do come from the point of view that the story is already known. We are just now rediscovering it. We can apply everything that's been told to us as gospel truth from the nonsense science men in a different sense. We needn't throw it out completely we can, for the best part, reverse it and we'll come closer to it.
I wasn't mocking you in the slightest, actually, Pete. Just to make that absolutely clear, when I read out your comment, I read it because I thought it was justified reading. But what you're suggesting is the narrative that Neil deGrasse Tyson gives. Literally, I've heard him discuss this in these terms: that we are born of the heart of stars, us people. We are made from that material. Therefore, we were originated from the heart of a dying star, and therefore originated from nothing, the Big Bang, everything from nothing. That's where our origins lie, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson in his lectures. And what you're saying is, well, how can we extract truth from that? Maybe there is none.
Well, I say there is. I say Neil deGrasse Tyson, or Neil deGrasse Tyson, a prominent crater on the moon, is spinning a yarn, and it's up to us not to take it literally. It's like the Bible. If you take it literally, you're lost. Whereas if you interpret it and apply it, I guess, to your own story, then I think there's great progress to be made. For instance, when Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about the Earth being an oblate spheroid, I take it that he's telling the truth, just not in the sense that we interpret it. The Earth is flat, and for me, it's the shape it takes, the form it takes, defined by the sun's path, is oblate spheroid, flattened down though, in the form of a rugby ball, your own country's premier game. But in regards to stardust, yeah. So if we come from the heart of dying stars, we have to ask, well, what was a star before it died? So therefore we came from the heart of a living star, in one sense, you know what I mean? And when I talk about Aristarchus, in the sense that I talk about it, or I sort of am coming to understand it more, it's not just everything without. The sun is Aristarchus. You're dealing, when you were looking at the luminaries, and again, just from me, Nathan, and anyone else out there, and I'm claiming to know everything, or it's just where I'm coming from and expressing that. But when we look at the luminaries, we're looking at a light show. So fundamentally, if you take the opposite again of what the likes of Neil deGrasse Tyson tell us, and maybe consider it, instead of an infinite number of luminaries, maybe we have one luminary which is just reflecting in a sort of an infinite manner, if we can sort of make that juxtaposition. So that's what I would be trying to decode it in that sense, and I would encourage everybody else to at least consider it. I mean, we know that the Earth is spinning ball. Earth is nonsense, and that's fine and dandy. But where does that leave us then?
Cool. I'm going to have to round out this show. It will continue on the after show, which will get published later. So I'll plug that first and foremost. So at 4 a.m. UK time, or 0400 GMT, this show will get rebroadcast with the after show, which will continue once I end this live broadcast. So be sure to check that out at 4 a.m. But immediately, I'll put a link in the chat box. There is the first show rerunning with a live chat. So if you weren't up in time to catch the first show, you can see that on my second channel. Click the link either in the info box below this video or on the chat that I posted just before coming on camera. So yes, and with that, I will say first and foremost, though, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do, but if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. Also massive thanks to all who hit the super chat. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Nathan, was that how you met Patricia Steer with that example you gave there?
Say again?
Across with a telescope.
Is that how I met Patricia? How?
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
follow.
just a little joke, as you know. Remember that example you gave with looking across the telescope and get the impression you were looking at a beautiful woman across the way. You turned out she had a knob.
Oh, right. So you just believe a lying psychopath asshole, do you, when it comes to these things, considering you've never ever met the woman and you're just sexually...
We know the history to that, Nathan, so we can joke about things, and it's not about believing anything.
Yeah, it is. You've never met the woman.
Right.
And you were told by a man, were you not, that she is a man, correct?
Hang on, let's not get into that now, please.
Why, you brought it up?
Yeah, I brought it up in terms of a joke, right?
Oh, right. I don't find it funny when you insult one of my friends who's a woman and claim she's a man as a joke. because you are sexually fascinated with her and obsessed. That just pisses me off. She's a friend of mine, Pete.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think about that, Nathan. You know what I think about you in general.
No, I don't care. You're insulting
Right.
one of my friends,
Right,
and in
but
the
you
most,
know, though, don't you? You
in
know,
the
I
most,
know you're putting
in the
blame.
most
You know that, don't
outrageous way, Pete. It's outrageous what you're doing, and it's based on what you were told by another man that you just believe, which in and of
Yeah, that
itself
man
is
happened to be a great friend of yours, by the way, and
No.
that man happened to also
No.
be intimate
No.
with Patricia, and that man happened to also be a prominent figure on Flat Earth, Nathan.
and you
right?
just believe him, correct?
No, don't be saying I believe him.
Well,
don't
you're
know-
repeating what he
excuse
said
me,
pretty
you
much
don't know my
verbatim,
process.
Pete. So you
There
just
go again,
believe
you
him.
get emotional.
This is like when we deal with the globeheads and their beliefs, Pete. You just believe him. You haven't ever met this person. You've absolutely nothing to back this belief. You just believe it.
Right, so you're telling me now you don't know the process by which I went through to.
Sorry, have you ever met this person?
behind it.
Have you ever met this person? Have you met this person, Pete?
No.
Right, so you've got nothing whatsoever to go on other than what you've been told by someone else. That's a fact.
Well, I've never met Barack Obama either, but I know for certain that
This
Will
is what we would
Smith
call a red herring. This is what we would call a red herring. So you're not addressing my point. You're distracting with a semi-related point. So because you've never met Barack Obama, what, you can do the same shit and make the same shit assumptions about him based on what people have told you online?
Oh, hang on, Nathan. You're not talking to one of your bum boys now.
Yeah, I am.
Right?
I'll make you my bum boy, Pete. When you
relax,
insult one of my
buddy.
friends
You're-
based on
hang
your
on.
belief in what a man told you.
So you didn't believe it and you ended your friendship with Antonio Subres because he's a psychopath. Is that right?
Sorry, Antonio Subrat is a psychopath. He's only interested in smearing his ex-girlfriend because she dumped him. Now you believe the words of a scorned lover because you're sad and you believe
Right,
men.
so again, you're attacking me now when you don't know what I believe or why I
No,
believe
that's a
it.
fact. You've parroted his words pretty much verbatim based on zero evidence and having never met the person.
Right, again.
Yeah,
you're
right.
attacking
Yeah,
positions
right.
me.
So I'm not attacking you personally. I'm pointing out the fact that you've taken this on trust and faith and belief. You have no
Listen to me,
evidence for it,
buddy.
Pete. Just
Listen to
your
me, buddy.
belief
I know
in what
well
a
enough
man
that Patricia
told
Steele
you.
was put in place, and I know well enough that Antonio Subrat is a fucking actor as well. And this is all a show, right? It was given to us to distract us. Don't
Yeah,
be
another
telling me
red
what I know
herring
or what I
from
don't
distracting
know.
away from your rather crap joke that wasn't funny and is deeply insulting to a woman.
Well, I mean, look, you were the best friends. You met both people involved. The people who were outside, who paid attention to what Patricia was saying and what Antonio was doing, they were left in a big conundrum, weren't they, Nathan?
No.
Because Antonio
None
went
of your
on and
fucking
in
business.
great detail.
None of your
Hang
fucking
on,
business
please.
what
Hang
happens
on,
to them,
please. If you're
Pete.
going to go like
Why
that,
is it any of your fucking business other than the fact that you're sexually totally fascinated with her? What's
Yeah,
it to
your
do with
true colours
you?
coming out now,
How
you
is
little
this
shit.
any of your business? You've never
true
met
colours
her.
coming out now, you
Have you
little
ever even
shit. You must
spoken to her
have potatoes,
personally?
no.
Have you ever even spoken to this person personally, one to
Listen to
one?
me.
Have you
Listen
ever
to me.
spoken to her?
Right, I just told you. I don't think so, actually.
So you've never even spoken to her?
I don't think so. I've seen her enough, though.
Oh, so what the fuck does this have to do with you, you nosy bastard?
You little shitbag. Listen to yourself.
Answer my question.
I
What
hope
the
you- I hope
fuck
you showed
does this
this in
have
your
to
fucking-
do with you,
Let's continue
you
then. I hope
nosy
you showed
piece of
this
shit?
in your-
So do you enjoy
I will
sticking
show
your
it,
nose
mate.
into other people's
Right, I'll
affairs,
tell
do
you
you?
what it's got to do.
You
So you ask
nosy
me a question.
bastard.
I'll tell
Do
you
you
what it's
enjoy
got to
sticking
do,
your
right?
nose into other people's affairs, Pete?
Put yourself on mute. Stop rumpusing me. Right.
Am I going to get an answer?
What
Why are you
with me,
sticking your
right?
nose into this person's affair?
Right. So hang on. You said what? Let me answer the question, since you said what it's going to do with me. I'll speak for all honest inquirers into flat Earth. Right. It's a lonely old path when you realize you've been lied
Just
to. about
fucking answer.
everything.
What's it got to do with you, old man?
Go on, Nathan. Your cards will show themselves, and I hope you have the guts to show this, because for me, you're
Answer the question.
Just answer the question. What the fuck does this have to do with you?
I was answering you, little shitbag.
Stop with the ad homs. Answer the question.
Excuse me. Tell him to stop with the ad homs.
No, I want you to answer the question because you came in here and made a flippant joking remark and Nathan caught you out on it. I'm sorry.
No,
but
because
what
you
you
know
did
what's
wrong.
going on here. That was a reference to the last time I spoke to Nathan. where
Question.
Big argument again, right?
Answer the question.
Shut your mouth, man.
What the fuck has it got to do with you?
Yeah,
I was
what's it got to
answering
do
the
with you,
question,
Pete?
Nathan,
Why
until
does
you
this
interrupted,
concern you?
right?
What does
So
this
how long
have
do
to
I
do
have?
with you?
Do I have a minute to answer? Maybe. Right. So you asked the question, what's it got to do with me? Right. Well, when we go into flat Earth, right, we understand. Right. Okay. When someone interrupts, I can't hear, so I have to stop. Anyway, but these people are put at front and center first in flat Earth, right? They're friends, right? In this lonely old fucking journey, you know, we at least have some sort of community where we can all bind together and recognize this
Sounds like
state
you
of
don't have
affairs
much friends,
in
Pete.
terms of the drastic nature of it. So when someone like Antonio Subrats comes on and says these things about Patricia Steer in terms of being transgendered, well, then it has got to do with everybody who held them in some respect and esteem. Because first of all, one of them has to be lying, right? Right? So I was on Pancho Pete's channel when Antonio Subrats came in great detail and went through all of this. So my question would be, where does that leave the genuine listener?
Who gives a shit? Sorry, this doesn't answer the question. So you think because some asshole has broadcast this on his channel, it makes it your business?
I'll fucking make whatever I want my business, Nathan.
Oh, so basically the answer to my question is because you want it to be your business. That's the answer, right, Pete?
What's your business then, Nathan? Is your business to make money out of flat Earth?
I'm a YouTuber. I make videos. I work very hard. Yeah, that's what I do. And if I get paid for it, I earn every cent. So, doesn't it answer my question? What does this have to do with you? Oh, it's because you're making it your business and deciding who's right.
So what does it have to do with me? So do you have to qualify to comment on something?
Well, you just trusted somebody who's told you something. That's the point.
Let me ask your question better, Nathan. Do you know hang on, please. Do you know when you were making money out of flat Earth debates and flat Earth discussions last year?
So this has nothing to do with your assertion. So is this another ham-handed segue away from the question? What the fuck does this have to do? Who's joined and why are you making loads of noise?
Okay, it wasn't the likes of me coming and commenting, adding to the debate and the discussion. It wasn't a debate for me, especially. Wasn't that contributing towards your coffers? Weren't you getting paid on the basis
So what?
What
does Patricia Steer's relationship have to do with you? And you're asking me about how I make money? This is another red herring.
You don't seem to answer any of my questions.
It's another red herring. It's got sod all to do with the subject in hand.
You said you deserved every penny you've made out of YouTube.
Yeah, do.
And I just asked
yeah, damn well do. What does that have to do with you coming on and accusing somebody of being a man when they're clearly a woman based on what someone told you? So you want to go straight to my earnings?
Not clearly a woman. Patricia Steer is not clearly a woman.
Now I'm asking a different question. What does that have to do with what I earn as a YouTuber?
Hang on, this is all going. Who am I to comment? What right do I have to comment about a situation? This is where it came back to. Right? So, and who has the right to comment then in that sense? So we all have the right to comment. But when you have such prominent figures like this stirring such controversy, what are you supposed to fucking do, Nathan?
Oh, join the bandwagon, Pete. I think the best thing you can possibly do is join that bandwagon and assert the same shit that he asserts based on pure faith. That's what I think you should do, you absolute fucking retard. That's what you should do, Pete. Jump on the bandwagon and ridicule her like the scorned lover has. Because that'll make you look like the scorned lover as well, won't it, Pete? Because you're sexually obsessed with her,
your attitude
aren't you,
here is
Pete?
desperate, because if it turned out, imagine for instance, it turned out that another prominent flat earther was
Is this
accused
another
of
subject
something
change? Another subject change, I see. So we're constantly moving away from you sticking your nose in and basically backing an asshole with his assertions.
Your
based
friend,
on
the
faith.
asshole, right?
Yeah, you're talking over me. Yeah, so based on pure faith, you've backed the assertion of a scorned lover. Why?
No, not pure faith.
Really? So we went through this earlier. So you've never met this person. You've never so much as spoken to her. But yet you assert this isn't on pure faith. You've never even had a fucking conversation with her.
Right, but can I not have do some investigations? For instance, Patricia Steer.
Well, maybe a phone call. Maybe a fucking phone call. Maybe a photograph of her cock, if she had one, you stupid idiot. Do you think that would be a good investigation? Maybe meet her?
No,
because you're a fucktard researcher who just listens to other people and repeats them. You just repeat the words of a scorned lover and think that's fucking research.
Yeah, your friend. your friend, and you think I wouldn't be able
Why'd
to
you
tell
keep
if I'm
calling
not
my
Patricia
friend?
Steele?
Why'd you keep calling this cunt my friend?
Don't try and live flat Earth, Nathan. Isn't
He's
it
not my
funny?
friend. Excuse me. He's your friend, and you believe every fucking word he says because you're
Oh,
a
he's your
moron.
friend. He's your friend, buddy.
No, he's not.
You spend hundreds of hours working out shows with him, talking with him.
And so
And I
fucking what?
didn't.
Is
I
that
never
another
spent any
assumption by a
personal time
fucktard
talking with him.
truther? Another fucktard assumption? Oh, right. So because I work with somebody, that means they're my fucking friend, does it?
You're a bastard, aren't you, Oakley? You're a bitter little fucker, aren't you?
Sorry, we still are on the same
Angry
subject
little
of what
fucker,
the
aren't
fuck
you?
Patricia Steele has got to do with
You're
you.
qualified
And the
to
answer is you
take
just trust a
ownership,
man and
take
what he
it.
tells you because you're an idiot. Trusting,
You're
very
a bitter
trusting.
little angry little fucker. We have you
Yeah,
fucked up the
you
arse
want to be
in,
nasty to
private
one of
school,
my
Nathan.
friends, P,
That how
and
it
I'll
works
point
with you,
out
lad, is it?
what an old cunt you are and how obsessed
That
you
how
are
it
with
works
this
with you,
woman.
lad, Nathan.
Yeah, you can't have her, so you're going to smear her, just like her scorned lover.
I can't have her a plastic mannequin. Are you kidding?
Yeah, you knock her as much as you like, Pete. We all know that you're absolutely obsessed with her, yeah? And you've taken the side of her scorned lover, because you want to be that scorned lover.
Your friend. That's your friend, by the way. Your
It's not
love
my friend. How many times have I got to assert this, asshole? Just going to ignore
Who's your
me
friend?
in favour of your own version of reality. Ignore reality and focus on my own version of reality. Yeah,
Your
right,
friend turns
Pete.
out to be a psychopath.
So, I'll say it again. Are you going to focus on your own version of reality after I say it for the fourth time? This person is not my friend.
He was your friend, I said.
Oh, really? That's a past tense then. So, do you want to stop asserting that he's my friend?
What comes under the scrutiny here is
Sorry,
your judgment.
do you understand what I've just said? You've asserted 3 times this person's your friend.
Anything you say, man. I don't
So-
stand on anything.
So you're going to concede now, right? That your assertion's incorrect? He's not my
No.
friend?
I said he was your friend. He was your
No,
friend.
you didn't. You said this person's your friend. So you're just a lying asshole, Pete.
Am I really?
Yeah, you said on 3 separate occasions this person is your friend.
He was your friend. Yeah, he was your friend. He was your friend.
Oh, no. So you change event. You're causing a load of feedback.
Right.
Yeah,
That's my
so you've
point.
changed it
So
to past
ultimately-
tense, Pete. That's
ultimately,
different,
what's
isn't
under
it? So you've
question
now
here, I have to
changed your
move on.
position.
What's under question
Yeah?
here is your
Just
judgment,
another
Nathan.
distraction while you
Because
talk
without
over me
being
constantly.
Such a psychopath against any indication.
Yeah, I leave gaps, and then when I start talking, you'll start talking over me, Pete.
You're so fair and even-minded, aren't you?
Yeah, I still don't understand, other than you saying I'm making it my business, what this has to do with you. Why you're going around making these assertions.
Listen, when we come to flat Earth, you have to fucking ask questions. And you especially have to ask questions about the people that are put up in pedestals. And if you're coming along going to say you shouldn't do that, well, I'm going to say, fuck you, right? Of course I am. Everyone should be questioned. Because the information could be being poisoned, right, Nathan? We're after coming from a fucking ocean of lies. Who's to say that the lies aren't continuing and the path wasn't paved for us? Yeah.
So you've assessed the information from this scorned lover and assessed whether or not that's lies, have you, Pete? Or just trusted it and repeated
I
it?
didn't. No, I
Oh,
didn't.
you're going to talk
No,
over me again,
hang on,
asshole.
please.
When
Hang
it
on,
gets to
please.
the
Forget about
difficult
two
bits,
brats.
you talk
Forget about
over
two
me,
brats.
don't you, Pete? This is the difficult bit, where you tell me about how you assess things for their validity and whether or not they're lies. But in this instance, you've taken it as read and are repeating it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, really?
Because as I tried to say to you the last time, plenty of people have done a trans investigation on Patricia Steele. In other words, they've looked for the different clues. Are you saying there's no trannies on flat Earth, Nathan? So in other words, do you recognize that there are distinct differences that people can look for if they're doing such an investigation or if they have such suspicions?
And why would you be doing such an investigation?
Well, this is all sort of part of my reality, isn't it? What is real here? If women are men and men are fucking goats, I want to know about it, don't I?
Why?
What else will I do?
You're never...
Spend
Pete,
60
Pete,
shows,
why?
and
Pete, let me just level with you, Pete. Let me make this very clear. Pete, shut your mouth. Shut up, Pete. Let me make it very clear. It matters not to you what her gender is. You will never fuck her. Okay, Pete? It matters
Why
not
would I
to
need
you.
to fucking
It shouldn't
stick my
concern
mickey in
you.
something like
You're
that?
never going to
It's a
sleep with her.
mannequin,
So
man.
don't worry. It's not going to matter to you. It's not going to affect you because you'll never fuck her. Okay,
Maybe you
Pete.
won't, Nathan. Maybe you won't, and that's why you're being so
Yeah,
protective.
I'm married with a kid. I'm happily married, and
What
Patricia's
do
one of my
that make,
friends.
man?
One of my friends who's very dear to me, and you'll never get to fuck.
Yeah, this was your same defense the last time.
Yeah, because it's true. You're basically obsessed with her, Pete, and it's obvious.
Because I made a joke on the back of your joke there earlier.
No, because you're obsessed with her, because you've been making the same joke based on the lie from a scorned lover for about the last year and a half, probably longer. That's because you are obsessed, Pete. That's the fact of the situation. You're obsessed with Patricia Steer.
Okay. So again, your overreaction is very telling. But when I say to people, other people,
Not an overreaction. She's
and
my
I hear
friend.
that
I'm going to defend
do
her.
that, so
No,
that you're
not an
putting
overreaction. I'm just defending my friend against somebody who seems quite creepy and obsessed. That'd be you.
Or maybe you, Nathan.
No.
What do you think?
I didn't bring her up. You did. Creepy old man bringing her up again. Again.
I don't sound like you would be able to look me in the eyes, Nathan.
Yeah, I can. I could look you in the eye and say you're a creepy old man who's obsessed with Patricia Steer.
Right,
And have
so
taken the
my
narrative
point to
and
anyone else,
can
so
only
take a
react
second.
by
Step
talking
back
over me every
step
time I
back
point it out.
Yeah,
Every time I
take a
point it
step
out,
back,
you do
be
what you're doing
objective
now,
for a
which is
second,
talking all
Nathan,
over me,
relax.
Pete. Yeah, because you
So
don't
for anyone
like the
else,
reality
just
that
to
you're
give
faced with. So you're going to talk all over me. Yeah, I understand, Pete. You're obsessed with Patricia Steer, and the only way you can do it is like Rumpus does, by trying to censor reality and talk all over me. Yeah, well, I don't care, Pete. You can deal with this reality that you're obsessed with her.
I was
Yeah?
thinking you ignorant man. You're just going to come back and call me a dirty old man, right? So we get that.
No, you are obsessed with her, demonstrated by you bringing her up again.
Right, all right, go ahead.
Who brought her up, P? Was it us? No, because we're not obsessed with her like you. Is it sinking in? Is the penny dropping, Pete? We're not the one bringing her up, mate. You are, and have been for the last nearly 2 years. Obsessed much? Hello?
He's gone quiet.
So I don't understand what would even be the problem for him. I mean, what is his problem? I don't get it.
Problem is, he'll never get to sleep with this woman, so he's obsessed about her for the last 2 years.
Okay.
And
I
because
mean,
he can't have her,
I didn't know her before this conversation, and I just looked her up for a moment, and she doesn't look like a man for me. She looks kind of like a woman.
she looks like a
I don't
beautiful
know where
woman.
this comes
I
from.
agree. Just, yeah, beautiful woman that Pete will never get to sleep with. So rather than accept that, he would rather pour scorn all over her and claim she's a man based on what an ex-lover has told him.
And I mean, he told him that after they broke up, or how was it? I mean, it is kind of common that when people break up, depending on the character, they just make up shit about the other person to hurt the person, right? I mean, I wouldn't trust this as a reliable source for someone who broke up with the other person, right? It's kind of strange.
What'd I miss? I went and got a
Anyone
coffee.
here?
Has Pete gone?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it happened quite a lot of times that a friend of mine broke up with his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend started to talk shit about him. And, you know, this is the least reliable source when people break up to trust it. They make up a lot of shit.
I mean, the thing that winds me up the most, Cinder, is the fact that Patricia hasn't mentioned the relationship or the person once. Quite literally, not mentioned him. His name hasn't crossed her lips. Yet, that has gone, it seems, against her because she's not defended herself against the lies. She's just ignored them. So people like Pete go, well, obviously then if there's no defence against this lie, the lie must be true. It's like, oh, right, what an idiot. He literally, when addressing the fact that I'm pointing out that he's just accepting this without assessing for whether or not it's lies, he preempted that by saying, well, you have to assess what's the truth and what's not. And it's like, well, you haven't assessed this. Literally, you're repeating it verbatim.
I mean, it is kind of a good reaction to ignore the lies. I mean, I think this is the best thing she could do. Just acting like, just acting, not acting like she didn't hear it, but just ignoring it and being aware of it. Because for such accusations, it is kind of pointless to try to defend try to defend herself, right? So
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stance that she took was the best stance, but it's still a bit of a pisser when someone like Pete comes along and just parrots the only narrative that's out there, just because it's the only narrative, basically.
How long was it ago? How long was it ago that she was accused of being a man?
It's like 2.5 years ago that they were going out, and they went out for about 3 months.
Yeah. And after all this time, he still talks about it when everyone else forgot about it.
Because the scorned ex-lover will undoubtedly watch something like this and then spark it all up again. I'll get an advert out of it. Patricia will get an advert out of it. You mark my words. Pound says that both of us will get adverts. Narcissistic supply.
Wasn't that Pete's first appearance since the massive argument a couple of months ago?
Yeah, and the first thing he brings up is Patricia Steer. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the bit that I got. As soon as the show went, he made that joke. It was kind of like testing the waters to see if anybody else had either forgotten about it or if anybody else had changed their mind. But his joke when the show stopped was basically to test the waters.
He's embarrassed about it. That's why he's bringing it up. Wants to check everything's all cool. And it isn't.
Yeah,
it's
exactly
sad.
He compared this behavior with flat Earth, didn't he? He compared it with trying to find out the truth, right? But I think such things aren't his business, neither are mine. I mean, if I don't know, I just don't know. It isn't. I mean, it is a kind of behavior like an asshole to even start to think or start to question those things, because it's none of my business, right? Even if she was a man, she can do with herself whatever she wants, I think.
Right. In other words, if it was true, then live and let live. So what? Don't focus on it. There's no need. The fact that it's not true, and as you rightly point out, it's so outrageous when you look at her. You just go, she's blatantly a woman. What are you on about?
Yeah, it's strange that he compared his behavior with flat Earth. I mean, flat Earth is something that that is about everyone here. All we live with it. This is all of our business. And she, on the other hand, isn't my business. She is, what is it? Is she a YouTuber or so? Or how does he even know her existence?
I mean, she's a YouTuber, so from that point of view, that was his loosest segue into saying it's my business because she's on YouTube and a public personality. Well, yeah, I can appreciate if this was in the moment 2.5 years ago and it had just happened and that was the only narrative being put out there and he talked about it. Yeah, of course, everyone's going to talk about it. No worries. 2.5 years later, that's just obsession.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, let it go, man. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's not exactly current affairs, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Bloody hell. He likes his voice, though. Pete likes the sound of his own voice, I think.
And with that, I'm going to say a massive thank you to all of the second channel audience. So a massive thank you to all of the Nathan Oakley audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this uncut debate and row with Pete Shea, fun though it was. And also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel, including Pete Shea, for making this extended debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!